blues fans, so glad you made it. Welcome to the next episode of This Week in the Blues. It's your weekly look at blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen, with the blues band Big Train and the Locomotives, your favorite blues nerds. So let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history. Golden Big Wheeler was born December 15th, 1929. Now, this Chicago blues singer, harp player, and songwriter released 2 albums in his lifetime and is best known for his recordings of the songs Damn Good Mojo and Bone Orchard. He was born in Baconton, Georgia. And you know, I bet they have really good bacon there. Sorry, that was a really bad dad joke. Anyway, he eventually settled in Chicago in 1954, where he became friends with the harmonica player Little Walter. Now, Wheeler fronted his own band by 1956, and although he was a part-time musician, he also spent years working as an auto mechanic to supplement his income and provide for his family. Andrew Big Voice Odom was born December 15th in 1936. This Chicago blues singer and songwriter is best known for the close resemblance of his singing style to that of Bobby Blue Bland and B.B. King. Odom was born in Denham Springs, Louisiana, and learned to sing at his family's church. In 1955, he relocated to the St. Louis area and began working with Albert King and Johnny Williams. In 1960, he moved to Chicago, and that was his home for the rest of his life, becoming a fixture in the local music scene until his death in 1991. Record producer, civil rights activist, and music critic John Henry Hammond was born December 15th in 1910. In his service as a talent scout, Hammond became one of the most influential figures in the 20th century for popular music. He was instrumental in sparking or furthering numerous careers, including those of guitarist Charlie Christian, Billie Holiday, Count Basie, Big Joe Turner, Aretha Franklin, George Benson, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Mike Bloomfield. Hammond is also largely responsible for the revival of Delta blues artist Robert Johnson's music. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top was born December 16th in 1949. He was born in Houston, Texas, and upon discovering Elvis Presley via an appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, became transfixed by rock and roll. Soon after, he discovered Little Richard and bluesman Jimmy Reed via a local radio station. Gibbons began emulating his heroes, forming his first band when he was 14. He began his career in the band Moving Sidewalks and opened 4 dates for the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Gibbons formed ZZ Top in the late 1969, and that little old band from Texas wound up as an enduring American musical institution. Chicago blues harmonica player Joshua Jimmy Whiting, who goes by the stage name Sugar Blue, was born December 16th in 1949. Now, Blue played as a session musician on Johnny Shine's Too Wet to Plow and with Roosevelt Sykes. Through that connection, he met Louisiana Red, and the two toured and recorded in 1978. Taking advice from Memphis Slim, Blue traveled to Paris. Blue was found by Mick Jagger busking on the city streets. This led him playing on several of the tracks on the Rolling Stones' Some Girls and Emotional Rescue albums. On December 17, 1930, Lucille Bogan first recorded Black Angel Blues. It became a blues standard and has been recorded by numerous other artists with slightly different titles. This included Tampa Red, Robert Nighthawk, and Earl Hooker. In 1956, B.B. King recorded a version with the revised title Sweet Little Angel. King's version, which included a horn section, was a stylistic shift for the song, and it became a hit, reaching number 8 on the Billboard R&B chart. Chicago blues harp player Paul Butterfield was born December 17th in 1942. Now, Butterfield was the first white harmonica player to develop a style original and powerful enough to place him among the true great blues harmonica players. Early on, he explored the blues scene in Chicago, where he met Muddy Waters and other Chicago blues artists who provided encouragement and opportunities for him to join in jam sessions. In 1963, he formed the Paul Butterfield Blues Band with Elvin Bishop. Now, the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015. Blues guitarist and singer Pee Wee Creighton was born December 18th in 1914. It is thought he was the first blues guitarist to use a Fender Stratocaster, playing one given to him by Leo Fender. One of his first recordings in 1948 was the instrumental Blues After Hours, which reached number 1 on the Billboard R&B chart late that year. On May 8, 2019, Creighton was posthumously inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame by longtime friend Doug McLeod in a ceremony held in Memphis, Tennessee by the Blues Foundation. Now, the one and only Lonnie Brooks was born December 18, 1933. Having forged a unique combination of Louisiana and Chicago blues that sounded unlike anyone else on the competitive Windy City scene, this charismatic guitarist long reigned as one of the town's top bluesmen. Now, here's an interesting fact. His real name was Lee Baker, and he called himself Guitar Junior until he moved to Chicago, where Luther Johnson was already using that name. So he went with the name Lonnie Brooks instead. Now, why he didn't just use his real name of Lee Baker, I don't know. Ace saxophone player Eddie Cleanhead Vinson was born December 18th, 1917. He played jump blues, jazz, bebop, and R&B alto sax. He was nicknamed Cleanhead after an incident in which his hair was accidentally destroyed by lye contained in a hair straightening product, necessitating shaving it all off. He really took to the look, and he maintained a shaved head thereafter. Peg Leg Sam was born on December 18, 1911. He was a blues harp player, singer, and a comedian. Early in his career, he worked in medicine shows. Now, he lost his leg in 1930 trying to hop a train. He made a peg out of a fence post, bound it to a stub with a leather belt, and kept moving. Peg Leg Sam gave his last medicine show performance in 1972 in North Carolina, but continued to appear at music festivals in his final years. New Orleans piano legend Professor Longhair, or Fess for short, was born December 19th in 1918. He was born Henry Bird in Bogalusa, Louisiana, and his distinctive style of piano playing was influenced by learning to play on an instrument that was missing some keys. Longhair grew up on the streets of the Big Easy, tap dancing for tips on Bourbon Street with his running partners. A natural-born card shark and gambler, Longhair began to take his playing seriously in 1948, earning a gig at the Caledonia Club. His piano style has been described as instantly recognizable, containing rumba, mambo, and calypso. The blues, boogie-woogie, and jazz pianist, guitarist, and singer Walter Rowland was probably born December 20th, 1902. I say probably because, like so many of his time, record-keeping was dodgy at best. Rowland was born in Ralph, Alabama, and is most noted for his association with Lucille Bogan, Josh White, and Sonny Scott. He started playing on the Birmingham blues circuit in the 1920s. His range covered slow blues to upbeat boogie-woogie numbers. Between 1933 and 1935, Rowland traveled to New York on 3 occasions, recording around 50 songs under his own name for Banner Records. The Devil's Son-in-Law, Peetie Wheatstraw, was born December 21st in 1902. He began recording in 1930 and was so popular that he continued to record through the Great Depression, at a time when the number of blues records issued was drastically reduced. Now, on December 21st in 1941, which was his 39th birthday, he and some friends decided to take a drive to find some more liquor when the Buick they were riding in was struck by a freight train, killing all 3. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. Now, if you want to know more about these artists or the other things that happened this week in the blues, and there's a lot of them, be sure to follow our social media pages or visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. We'll have a new episode next week, so we'll see you then.